Saturday is going to be a Fox 54 weather impact alert day across almost all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Good evening and a very happy Friday. I'm Fox 54 weather impact chief meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Today is the first day of summer, and technically temperatures were a couple of degrees below where we should be this time of year. Florence saw a high temperature this afternoon of 89 degrees. Fayetteville saw 87. The Huntsville International Airport saw 89 this afternoon. We were a couple of degrees cooler over in northeast Alabama. Fort Payne saw a high temperature today of 86 degrees. 87 was otherwise a very popular number over in northeast Alabama. Scottsboro, Arab, and Albertville all saw high temperatures this afternoon of 87 degrees. But like I said, today is the first day of summer. Now, technically, if you want to get really technical about it, and I guess that's what we're going to do, summer officially begins at 9:42 p.m. Sunrise this morning was at 5:34. Sunset this evening is going to be at 8:03 p.m. And then it's all downhill from there. Once we get beyond the summer solstice, we actually begin to lose daylight all the way up until the winter solstice. And then in between the winter solstice and the summer solstice, we gain daylight. Between the summer solstice and the winter solstice, we begin to lose daylight. If you're not excited about the heat that the weekend's going to bring to the Tennessee Valley, just think. Before you know it, it's going to be chilly and the sun is going to set at 4:35 p.m. And I'm sure there's a group of people that are probably really excited about that. Live look out over into DeKalb County this evening. Beautiful evening over in northeast Alabama. The trees look really pretty, the grass looks really pretty, and it's difficult to find much in the way of any cloud cover over in northeast Alabama. From the top of Montesano, much the same, somewhat difficult to find much in the way of any cloud cover. Otherwise, a beautiful evening. Look at that. Temperature sitting in the upper 80s, dew point sitting in the upper 60s. It could be worse, and it is going to get worse as we head into the weekend, hence the reason we have the Fox 54 weather impact alert day. And then a beautiful evening looking northbound on Memorial Parkway. A lot of traffic this evening. Of course, there's a lot of traffic. It's a Friday evening. The weather is beautiful. I'm sure people are heading out for dinner, any other festivities that could be going on this Friday evening across the Tennessee Valley. Like I said, Saturday, going to be a Fox 54 weather impact alert day. Going to run 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., but I also think it's going to be in a place through much of the day on Saturday as well. We're talking about extreme heat, and by extreme heat, I mean some of the hottest air we've seen. Not some of the hottest air, it is definitely the hottest air we have seen so far this season. So a couple of things you're going to want to do. Make sure you stay cool this weekend. I know you're going to be really excited to go outside, and I'm going to repeat some of this information a couple of times. But it's important to limit the amount of time you spend outdoors and have your sunscreen handy this weekend. We're going to get to enjoy plenty of sunshine. You're going to spend time outside. I'm not telling you to spend the weekend inside. I'm not going to be spending the weekend inside. I'm spending lots of time outside this weekend. But make sure you reapply the sunscreen. Let's talk about this first hot weekend of the season, and then of course of the summer, but that comes as a more obvious statement considering the first day of summer is today, so it's only natural that Saturday and Sunday are going to be the first weekend of summer. Temperatures are going to climb well into the 90s with heat index values climbing into the triple digits, well into the lower triple digits as a matter of fact. Now is the time of year to think about what time of day you walk your pet. It's going to be important that you walk your pet either A, earlier in the morning, or B, later in the evening when the pavement has had a chance to cool down, especially if you live in a location that doesn't necessarily have a concrete sidewalk and you're more stuck dealing with maybe an asphalt street. The asphalt is going to get much hotter than the concrete. If maybe you live in a more residential neighborhood that has a concrete sidewalk, you're going to have an easier time of this, but still, you're going to want to make sure you walk your pets either earlier in the morning or later in the evening because the concrete or the asphalt just simply going to be way too hot for your pet's paws. So you're going to want to do that earlier in the day or later in the day before the concrete or that asphalt really heats up. And the asphalt is going to heat up much quicker. So if you have to walk your pet on an asphalt surface, you're going to want to do that even earlier in the morning. And it looks like these hot conditions are probably going to stick with us through much of next week, for the next several days, but that's okay. It's summer. We're getting to the point in the year when it is supposed to be routinely hot. Here's the heat advisory. Heat advisory going to be in place across Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties in North Alabama. This also includes a couple of counties up across southern Middle Tennessee and much of northeast Mississippi. Now, why just these three counties? Well, it looks like the heat index is going to be a little bit higher over in northwest Alabama, and they are typically a little bit warmer than everybody else. Now, this doesn't magically mean once you get out of Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties, it's just going to be cooler everywhere else. No, it's still going to be hot everywhere else across the Tennessee Valley, but when you're talking about specific heat index criteria, those are best met across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties. That's going to run 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Here's the forecast heat index as we head into Saturday. Heat indices forecast to be anywhere between 102 and 107 over in northwest Alabama, anywhere between 99 and 103 really across a good chunk of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, and then a little bit lower across northeast Alabama, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. And we're going to kind of stick with this routine for the next couple of days. It's going to be much the same as we head into your Sunday. So I would not be the least bit surprised if the heat advisory gets continued into Sunday. It still looks like the highest heat index values are going to be across northwest Alabama, a little bit lower across the I-65 corridor, and then actually creeping up a little bit more across northeast Alabama as we head into the back half of the weekend. And we're still not done. As we head into the early part of next week, these numbers not really going anywhere. We're still going to be talking about heat indices that are climbing well into the upper 90s and even well into the lower triple digits. Not done from there. I told you this was going to stick around for the next couple of days. Heat indices climbing well into the triple digits even as we head into next Tuesday. Once again, presenting you with your stereotypical heat safety tips. If you can, limit your time outdoors. Just limit it. Take brief little breaks, 5, 10 minutes, really all it takes, just to kind of reset yourself. Stick to light colored and light weighted clothing. That's always important. Stay hydrated with water. Exercise early in the day or late in the evening. Kind of the same concept as we're talking about with your pets. It's going to be better on your body if you exercise early in the day or later in the evening. Check on pets and the elderly. Keep your blinds and shades closed as we head into the heat of summer. It's going to keep your house a couple of degrees cooler, which might lower your utility bill a couple of degrees, or a couple of bucks. I guess I should say you might not have to have the AC run as hard. Current temperatures across the Tennessee Valley, many of us sitting somewhere in the mid and upper 80s, 86 in Scottsboro, 85, Arab and Albertville, 87 in Florence, mid and upper 80s up across southern Middle Tennessee. As we head into the overnight, I would not be the least bit surprised if a little bit of patchy dense fog develops across the Tennessee Valley. We saw that last night. In some cases, that stuck around through the middle and later part of the morning. Otherwise, temperatures dropping. I've got a low right around 70 degrees. It's going to be a fantastic day if you want to spend time by the pool. Just stay hydrated, wear the sunscreen. At this point, it's kind of a repeat of things that I'm telling you over the course of the last 7.5 minutes. 90 degrees at 1. We're going to finish the day in the lower 90s, 89 by 4, 87 by 7. Now, we find ourselves dealing with our typical summertime weather pattern. So while the vast majority of the day, like 98 to 99% of the day, is going to come with a mostly sunny sky, don't be surprised if you're the unlucky human being that ends up having to deal with a pop-up shower or thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon or early tomorrow evening. It's certainly going to be possible. The vast majority of us are going to be dry, and you're going to forget that I ever said anything about rain, but just note that a couple of you might end up getting wet late tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget that I said anything about rain until it doesn't rain over your house tomorrow. When it ends up raining over your house tomorrow, I want you to remember that I told you that there was a small chance of rain. But call your neighbor up. Odds are better than not. It probably won't be raining at their house. Then as we head into your Sunday, once again, temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s. The 90s are going to be a common theme for the next several days. You'll see that in the 7-day forecast. And it looks like in the long term, we're going to be talking about above average temperatures. And at this point, an average high temperature is right around 90 or 91 degrees. While as we head into the early days of July, there's about a 60 to 70% chance that we're going to be talking about above average temperatures across the Tennessee Valley, across much of the eastern half of the United States, as a matter of fact, heading up all the way up into Ohio and then heading all the way up into the Northeast. As a matter of fact, it looks like much of the continental United States forecasting above average temperatures, even across the Pacific Northwest, about a 20 to 30% chance of above average temperatures. Have a good look at the next 7 days, 92 on Saturday, 93 Sunday, 93 on Monday. Isolated showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast every single day through the forecast period. It's just the nature